So I did private wine tastings in people's homes. And so I didn't want to use the wine because I needed the wine to make money, to make sure I was, able to pay rent and all the things. As I really started to kind of build a business, I think I recognized a little bit more about the social side of it. And that's probably when it probably started picking up more. And, I ended up becoming the top income earner at my previous company. There's like perks that come along with that. We went on vacations, like international vacations. We went to Napa, like you're rewarded with wine when you do well. So like when those things started to happen, and then I like celebrate with like $100 bottle of wine.
This is Rock Bottom with Ryan. No sugarcoating, no filters. The pain, the chaos, the truth. No bullshit. Just recovery.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Rock Bottom with Ryan. Just want to let you know that this episode is once again brought to you by Sober Strong Apparel. Sober Strong Apparel isn't just lifestyle wear, it's battle gear. You get heavyweight tees, hoodies like this one, hats, gear for ones who draw a hard line. Clean, sober, no compromise. We rep sobriety like a badge of honor, and every piece you throw on says you're a part of the crew that doesn't back down. So go to soberstrongapparel.com, use code ROCKBOTTOM, all one word, for 15% off. No longer 10%, we got 15% off now off every purchase. And please remember that every purchase, 10% of it goes to recovery facilities. So this brand represents a good cause. If you know anybody out there who's in recovery, sober curious, let them know to go to soberstrongapparel.com. Great quality clothing. It looks good. I wear it every day. Please check it out. Soberstrongapparel.com, y'all. Enjoy this episode. All right, welcome to another episode of Rock Bottom with Ryan. I'm here with my guest today, Jes. Jes, how you doing?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's good to finally have you on here and be able to share your story, and have a lot of questions to ask about what you're doing now and all that. But first and foremost, what's your sober day? What's your drink of choice? Where are you from? All the basics.
So my sober day is going to be April 2nd. As I kind of shared with you behind the scenes, it's a little muddy. And I do not want it to be April 1st because I don't want people to think like it's an April Fool's joke. But I'm confident on April 2nd. By then, I was definitely not drinking. So I have 34 more days until 1 year anniversary of it.
Awesome.
And I used to drink a lot of wine and a lot of tequila.
Okay. Yeah, I was noticing in your profile you have a lot of history with the wine industry and stuff. So we'll definitely want to hear about that. But can you kind of tell me a little bit about what life was like growing up? What was your family dynamic? What was it kind of like as a kid before you started drinking at all and all that?
Yeah, I didn't grow up in a drinking household by any means. I remember my parents like had alcohol. We had an island in our kitchen and there was alcohol underneath. My parents were never the type to go away. So it wasn't like I was sneaking their alcohol. I don't remember, I barely remember my parents ever drinking. And if my mom did, she would put like soda in her wine. It's like a very Italian thing to do.
Really? Yeah.
I didn't think it tasted very good, but that's how she, still to this day, she puts soda in her wine. So yeah, I didn't grow up in a drinking household. The first time I actually even drank, it was actually my brother who gave me alcohol at graduation because he's like, I don't want you going to college without ever having had a drink. He was actually very worried that I'd be the person who would go too crazy in college, having had rules. He was like, you need to like drink while there's still like a curfew, which I really do actually appreciate looking back on. I think that was a good older brother decision for me.
It's actually really smart because I went into college with only like a couple drinking experiences and I went off the rails as soon as I got to college and had that freedom. So
yeah,
I get it.
He said that. He was like, you have the personality who's going to go hard. And he wasn't wrong. Like I had a lot of fun in college. I actually played college soccer for a couple of years and then took a red shirt and then stopped because of I actually have a heart condition too. On top of everything, I've had 7 heart surgeries. So
Wow.
there's a whole lot going on here.
Yeah.
But I like drank in college. I wouldn't say anything abnormal to like a normal college experience. Like I don't look back and think like, oh man. I mean, I probably did some stupid stuff, like let's call it as it is, but nothing where nobody would have ever said anything like out of the norm about me. So yeah, that was kind of like my childhood. Like we weren't like an alcohol family. If that
Yeah.
like it was there, but it like
It wasn't like every celebration or bad day or something people were drinking and stuff.
no, like I remember like at my graduation, my mom made like a champagne punch. Another thing where she put like sherbet inside the champagne. I don't know. Anyway, so that's kind of like nothing crazy though. Like
And you come
I
from
don't have
a like partially Italian family?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
My mother was born in Italy, so I guess that makes me technically first generation. But yeah, they were just like I don't know. I don't like sometimes I feel like there's like trauma connected to like childhood stuff. Like I don't have any like my parents are just they were proud of me when I sold wine and they were proud of me when I decided to go sober. Like
Okay.
they're
So a
just they're
cool,
just good
supportive family.
supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That didn't go through like divorce or anything like that or any kind of
They're still
abuse or
together.
good. Awesome.
They're obsessed with each other. Like I
That's
wish that for
great.
every marriage.
That sounds like a healthy marriage. No, that's good to
Yeah.
hear. Because it's like a lot of the stories I hear, it's like it's kind of a change of pace because it's a lot of broken families usually in the background of alcoholism and stuff. So it's good to hear that, you grew up with good parents and a good family dynamic and all that. And
Thank you.
drinking wasn't a priority in high school. It wasn't a huge priority in college. It was just something you were exposed to just because it's college, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean I would say I'd had the normal high school drinking experience and college experience.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Mine, yeah, no drinking in high school, only a few times, and they were all bad experiences. So I just decided not to be a high school drinker. And then in college, it was just like, oh my gosh, I have all this freedom, no curfew, live alone, just have, I can do anything I want. And my grades just slowly like started really good and then just slowly went down as the years went on. I still finished, but like it was still, yeah,
Yeah, I
alcohol
mean,
took over.
I was definitely like rocking it still. I finished with like a 3.94 in college.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was like
And soccer.
drinking. I was having fun. But I mean, it never was like a distraction. Like I would for sure always get what I needed to get done. And I would say that about myself my whole life. Like I'm not.
Awesome. What position were you in soccer?
I was either an attacking center mid or a striker.
Two
I'm
really
like
hardcore positions. There you go.
I had a great first touch. I was very
Nice.
quick. I'm a small person though, so I'm easily pushed off the ball. So like I had to learn how to play quick.
Yeah, my defensive skills were off, so I was fast enough to be a midfielder, but they always put me at striker because I was just good at finishing, but I just did not play great defense for some reason. I just, waited somebody just, cross me the ball and I'll score, but that's about all I have.
I mean, that's not a bad trait though to have. Let's be real.
It
Someone's
was
got to put
cool.
it in the back of the net.
In high school, I led the league in scoring
All
for 2
right.
years. Yeah, it was cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
But yeah, so that was my sport that I was good at. But I wanted to be better at baseball, but that just never panned out. So, but yeah. So how did things get after college? Was your first like jobs out of college that involve working in the wine industry, or what happened there?
No, so I went to school in Georgia, and it was during the time of like Sex in the City, and how I think every girl in the world was like, "I'm gonna go be Carrie and live in New York City." Give you one guess, I didn't live like Harry. So, I ended up moving in August of 2006 to New York. I had no job. I had $5,000 in my pocket. I moved into a fifth floor walk up. And this is actually one of my favorite things that my father ever did for me. He helped move me up there. We pull up in front of the apartment. We take everything that I have out and we put it on the curb. And he literally pulls out like the folding chair that he would use to watch me play soccer, right? And he sits down. And I was like, "Are you going to help me carry everything up?" And he was like, "Eat or be eaten." And I was like, "Okay." So he just sat there. He's like, "I won't let anyone steal anything, but you can carry it up. You chose to move to New York." So that was like my first welcome to New York by my own father. We then got pizza afterwards because obviously. And I had like 5 jobs at a time. I was a soccer coach. I was working in like a little boutique. I was doing like whatever I could.
Hmm.
And then
New
I
York being
ended
so
up
expensive, you just kind of had to
just
make
had to
ends meet someone.
whatever
Yeah.
you could.
Yeah.
Um, and then my first real job in the city was actually working for an event planner. It was scary. It was kind of like The Devil Wears Prada, that movie. Super, super high New York. The very first event I did was at the Waldorf with 1,100 people for a wedding. I was like, who knows 1,100 people that they want at their wedding?
I
My
don't even
gosh.
know. I don't understand that at all. Like
Yeah, so
I
it
would
was
have trouble breaking 50 people if I had a wedding.
there you go. It was crazy. It was crazy. So that was like my first experience. And then I was also coaching for a local club, which is how I met my ex-husband. And then from there, I ended up leaving that job and just coaching. And I was a soccer coach for most of my 20s. I was actually a two-time state champion coach. And then I ended up asking for a divorce, and my ex-husband was my boss. So I didn't have a job anymore.
Jeez.
But that's kind of like, that was kind of the transition. When I was still with him, I found out about the network marketing space. And so I was selling jewelry on the side too. And I had just kind of said, like, I was selling jewelry because everybody I worked with was guys and I needed like a change of pace. But ultimately, it was because I was actually saving up money because I knew we weren't going to make it. And so I was doing that. But then when the divorce happened, that actually, it was around then. It was actually, I guess it was 2 years after I had asked for the divorce. I ended up in the wine industry.
Oh, okay. So, do you remember, if you don't mind going into it, like, did that divorce cause you a lot of stress or anything like that? Or was that just kind of,
I mean, I wouldn't wish it upon my ex-husband again.
yeah,
Divorce is so hard. I
yeah.
just I mean, we spent more money probably on the divorce than we actually did on the wedding. We're in a good place now. We co-parent. Our daughter together is 15. She's getting ready, to start looking at colleges and all of that. So I think we found our way 11 years later to like figure it all out. But I mean, I definitely wouldn't say that period was easy, right? Like you're using lawyers to communicate. You have to figure out schedules. You're sharing the most important person in your life with somebody else. All of our finances have been separated. We had a house and then I was living in a little 2-bedroom apartment, which I happen to love. I called it the penthouse. It was on the second floor of a private home. It was like my favorite place, but it definitely wasn't easy. Kind of talking to you, I think about how like it probably comes off as maybe that would be the trigger to drink, but it still wasn't because I couldn't afford it. I had no money. So I ended up getting into wine sales because I was in the network marketing space with jewelry. And I had a friend who was posting about wine. And I was like, oh, well, that like seems smart. Like when I have an opportunity to drink like a bottle of wine, like I couldn't go out, right? I had a 4-year-old at home. My socializing was by myself. I wanted to relax at night. And so that's actually how it kind of happened. I was like, I know lots of people who drink. Like I could sell wine. And that's how the whole thing started.
Wow. So, so you weren't like a big drinker at the time, but then once you got into the wine industry, I guess just naturally, you get bottles are everywhere. You got to get things sent to you and all that. I mean, did you start to notice your drinking pick up?
So at the beginning, no, because it was my inventory, right? So I did private wine tastings in people's homes. And so I didn't want to use the wine because I needed the wine to make money, to make sure I was, able to pay rent and all the things. As I really started to kind of build a business, I think I recognized a little bit more about the social side of it. And that's probably when it probably started picking up more. And, I ended up becoming the top income earner at my previous company. There's like perks that come along with that. We went on vacations, like international vacations. We went to Napa. Like you're rewarded with wine when you do well. So like when those things started to happen, and then I like celebrate with like $100 bottle of wine, and then I met my husband, and he was all about it. He was like, "That's cool." And so like date night, do you want to open a nice bottle of wine, right? So like it wasn't like crazy. I would say it was like more the last couple years that I was there. And then definitely the last years I had
It's
I
very
had my,
progressive, as you know.
yeah, like it wasn't like,
just like that, you're a full-blown raging alcoholic or anything. It's just kinda
Yeah.
slowly just kinda crept up on you a little bit and,
Yeah,
you
and,
know.
like, I still even to this day wouldn't say, like, I know, it's called rock bottom. Like, I don't think I had a rock bottom moment where, like, something dramatic happened and there was, like, people who I were like, "Jess, you need to, like, get your life together." It was more like I didn't like myself, and that was enough. I realized, like, I wasn't drinking to socialize anymore. I was drinking because it was just something to do. My husband would make dinner and I'd be like, "What bottle do you wanna open?" Like, we would open a bottle every single night. Like, how unnecessary is that? Like, how about have a glass of wine? Or I mean, a glass of water.
Yeah.
So
There's
that was kind of like the transition for me was realizing I was just always like, I wasn't drinking during the day. I wasn't like the type who, nothing like that. But, when the doctor asks, how many glasses of wine do you have a week? And you don't want to lie
yeah.
on a little form, and you make a joke about it at the time. But in reality, you're like, I probably shouldn't be like lying about to my own doctor about how
Yeah.
much wine I drink.
And it's always a sign when you start being, like, dishonest about it because you feel like you're in denial or just embarrassed or regretful.
Yeah. So I would say it was just kind of, it was a little bit of the culture. I take ownership in the fact, like, I led a very large team. We would do a weekly call and I would start the call and be like, "What's in your glass?" And everybody would drop in the chat, "I'm drinking cab, I'm drinking this." Like, and then we would celebrate what people and be like, "Oh my gosh, you opened the Russian River." Like, you get excited because somebody like opened a really nice bottle and it felt like it was social, but was like really not necessary. Like, you could just hop on Zoom and hop on Zoom without drinking. But like, it's just the culture. And, I don't want to put anything down about it. Like this is the hard part for me is I'm really thankful for the years that I had at that company because I grew up. I went from a position where like I could have applied for food stamps to buying my family a home. Like
Mhm.
there's a lot of things I'm really grateful for. But by the end, when I realized I didn't really like myself anymore because I had just been drinking too much, that was when I was like, this isn't going to work anymore.
Yeah. How much do you think, at your worst, do you think you were drinking per day?
I feel like we were opening a bottle a night between my husband and I.
Yeah. Did it, did it get to the point where, like, you were waking up feeling kinda like withdrawal symptoms or anything? Where, like, you just, like, felt.
No, I was never like that, but I definitely just, we would go out and then even if I had like one glass of wine, I would get home and I'd be like, did I do anything dumb? Did I say anything dumb? Did I
Yeah.
embarrass myself? Are you sure I did okay? Like, did I come off drunk? Like, it would be like a spiral of questions.
Yeah. Where you were
And like,
insecure about your drinking already.
yeah. And instead of just being like, that was a fun night. Like, I'm glad we got to hang out with our friends. It would be me completely over analyzing
Yeah.
the entire night. And then the next morning still being like, "Are you sure I didn't say anything? Like, what I didn't talk about this one thing that happened, right? Like, I didn't say anything, right?" Like, I mean, I couldn't turn off the, the only word that's coming like, the second guessing of myself. I don't know if that's the right word I'm looking for, but, like, I just didn't trust myself that I didn't do anything to embarrass myself or talk poorly about someone or
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And then did it ever come to the point where your husband was like, "Yeah, you did do this," and you felt regretful for something you did said or did, or was it just always kinda just paranoia, sorta?
It was paranoia that's the word, it was paranoia. Yeah, he was always like, "Nope, you were good." He was like, "People don't even know that you're drunk because he's like, "You're just so
Just stay the
steady."
same? Yeah.
Yeah, and for the longest time, nobody ever actually saw me drunk. So a lot of the people who were closest to me would be like, "When do we get to see drunk Jess?" And I was like, "No, like, I don't wanna be drunk in front of anyone." And then the longer I was kind of there, I got more comfortable and around people, and then they started to get and then we'd call it, like, "Fun Jess is out."
Yeah.
"Is Fun
Yeah.
Jess coming out tonight?" And then I'd be like, "Oh, well, yeah, let's bring Fun Jess out."
Yep, people had that name for me too. They're like, "Are you gonna drink tonight? Or are you gonna get RPK drunk?" Which is my initials, and I'm just like, "What do you mean by that?" And they're just like, when you just get faded and you entertain everybody and you're just, acting a
Yeah.
fool. And I'm like, I don't want to have a nickname for it because I don't want to be known as that person, but apparently I am. So it's
Yeah. And I like
embarrassing.
to think like I'm fun.
Yeah,
Like every now and then I'll be like, Mike, like, I'm fun, Jess, right? Your wife's fun. I'm fun, right? He's like, fun, chill out.
Yeah, no, it's no, I totally understand though, like those insecurities that come up just after like going out and having an average night and then coming back and just being like, what did I do? What did I do? You know,
Yeah.
I
And then
mean,
it's not fun.
yeah, and that just tells you right there that somewhere in your subconscious you're just kind of like, I don't need alcohol to get through the night, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So how as the years progressed, like in the wine industry, like what went through your head when you decided to leave that job and like quit drinking?
So I would say it'll be a year since I officially resigned. And that'll be April 7th that I
So
made
that
the
kind of
decision.
went hand in hand with quitting drinking as a whole.
Kind of, yeah, because before that, I felt like I'd be like, okay, well, I'll only drink on weekends. Or, like I was like constantly trying to like negotiate when I would drink and then be like, okay, well, like the holidays are coming. Like it's going to be hard to not have like a glass of wine. Right. And then be like, okay, well, I have a girls' trip coming up. Like I'm sure we're going to drink. So like I'll after that. And then I don't know. I just was like over like the fact that I was like constantly like negotiating it sucked. I didn't know I was going to go sober. I just knew I really needed to cut back or like change. I also, this time last year, I didn't know I was going to be leaving the wine industry, which is also bananas to me. All of it kind of happened on its own because it's in the direct sales space. In my mind, I was like, okay, well, maybe what I'll do is like go find like a 9 to 5. And I've already built this really awesome business and like I'll just like let it go on autopilot and then I'll just get paid whatever I get paid on it. So that was kind of my plan was like, I'll just go build something or like, I don't know, go work at Home Goods. I don't know, anything to just like kind of change up the pattern. Ended up at the beginning of last year having a moment where I figured out one thing that I knew I wanted to do. I had gone to a meditation um and like jewelry making thing, which probably sounds so funny, but the girl who was running the meditation, she was saying how she learned how to facilitate meditations during COVID because she had so much anxiety, like all the uncertainty. And she realized that it calmed herself down and that it could potentially help other people. And I was laying there while she was doing this and I was like, maybe that's what I need to do. Cause I was so anxious. My anxiety was like through the roof. And it was probably since my 7th heart surgery that also triggered it, which then I think also kind of maybe triggered some of the extra drinking too
That's
during
what I
that
was
period.
wondering. Thinking back at like you mentioning all the heart surgeries, I feel like that had to add some kind of stress into your life throughout your entire life, you know, just knowing that that was an issue.
Yeah. There's always been anxiety to it. The last one was the one that I think was the hardest, having both daughters now, having this big business, being married to the love of my life. And when I knew the pacemaker was running out, you can't just like get a new pacemaker, even though it says like it has 6 months left. It's kind of like the gas light on your car. You have to wait for the light to go on for them to change your pacemaker.
Isn't it like every 7, 8 years or something? Or...
It's supposed to be, yeah. Um, I haven't had that much luck. I'm going to moving on, but didn't at the time. And the last surgery, like I wouldn't go to bed at night because I was so scared that I would pass away in my sleep and then my husband would wake up and I wouldn't be there anymore. And so that was probably one of the most anxious periods that I've had. And then I think I didn't address it. And then for the next 2 years, I was anxious. And then my business was struggling and then I was drinking more. I just think there was like a compound of things that kind of happened. And so then when I realized I was like, I could do sound meditation, which is the ones with the bowls. And I was like, every time I've gone to a sound meditation, I feel relaxed. I feel good afterwards. Like it's time for me to just be. So I ended up learning how to do that and taking a course this time last year. And so that's what I thought I was going to actually do with my life is like, I'll just add sound baths and then I'll just collect my wine money. Like that was my plan.
I went to my first sound bath last month or whatever, and I felt like a new person for like 5 days afterwards.
It's
Incredible.
incredible.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand like how calming it is and like what it does for your body. And anyways, I'm obsessed with them.
It's incredible. There's one coming up in a couple of days that I'm going to, and it's like, yeah,
Go.
it's so, I don't know. It's just reviving. Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like the guy on Office Space afterwards. I was telling people, I don't know if you remember that movie, but after he
Kind of.
goes through this like hypnotherapy or whatever, he's just so chill and relaxed, not a worry in his life for like afterwards or whatever. And I felt like that, like nothing stressed me out. I was just not stressing about anything. It was amazing.
Is that the movie with Jennifer Aniston
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
The Flare?
Yeah.
You are the second person to bring this movie up to me in the past like 48 hours.
Really? That's funny.
So I think this is a sign I need to go watch it. That's so random.
It's a classic. It's written by the guy who created Beavis and Butthead, but he wrote this movie, you know, with real people and all that, and it's hilarious. It's like it's supposed to be about what it's like being in like an office environment with cubicles and stuff, but there's just a lot of funny stuff that happens.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen it, but I just don't. I'm not a movie quoter, but I feel like now I have to go back and watch it because literally twice in the
Well, when you see the part where he gets hypnotized and they're basically telling him to stop stressing about certain things, he gets hypnotized and he just, you know, walks out and he's just in this Zen space for like, you know, the rest of the movie, and it's really good though. So yeah,
I'm in.
Recommend it. Yep.
Well,
but anyways, sorry to cut you off.
No, that's fine. That's good. I mean, that's essentially how I felt with the sound baths. And I was like, that's a way for me to calm myself down. And I have always been an anxious person, but I just think the anxiety was just getting to the point of like no return. And then I think it was like March 6th. I had a friend post about how she had partnered with a new company and that it helps with anxiety. And I sent her a message and I was like, tell me about these products because I feel like I'm losing my mind. Next thing I knew, I was walking away from wine and partnering with this new company. And so in that kind of transition, again, I didn't think I was going to stop drinking. Like I still have wine in the house. Like there's thousands of bottles. I just thought I would like start to take care of my health better and drink. And then I realized like, I don't think I like to drink anymore. Like it was almost like all of a sudden I realized I was like, I don't even think I like the taste anymore. It was very weird.
Interesting.
Grateful, but very weird.
Yeah. Was when you like started quitting, did like having the wine in the house ever give you temptation or anything like that, or was it just one of those things? Because you weren't planning on fully quitting, so I understand there was like not a ton of pressure there, but like, was it?
I found myself still being protective of the wine.
Yeah.
Which is like embarrassing to say. So like my husband was still drinking. So he'd be like, can I open a bottle? And I'm like, sure. And then I wouldn't let him open a nice one because I wasn't drinking. And I was like, you can't open that one. He's like, why? I was like, because it's like $200.
You're like, well, what are you going to do with it?
He's like, but you're not drinking. And I was like, but what if I do drink again? Like, and then you drink the $200 bottle one and I didn't. So I was like weirdly protective over the wine.
Jeez. I was oddly protective about boxed wine during my worst. So
I actually sold boxed wine in college.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I used to go to the keggers and then bring a box of wine.
So you're already in wine sales at a young age. Yeah.
Clearly, it's legal, but whatever. But I would sell by the glass and I'd make a lot of money because, as you know, it's like $10 for a box. So
that's smart. You were already hustling at a young age. That's good.
Always an entrepreneur. But yeah, that would probably be the one thing. It's like, I was like weirdly protective over what bottles he opened. And now I'm like, what are we going to do with all this wine? So every time we go somewhere, I'm like,
here's a gift.
Here. I was like, this is a good one. This is like $200. Open it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It was crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, I wouldn't say you're like the worst case of alcoholism ever, but it is like a big sign is when you get possessive of your alcohol, you know, like I remember I'd have spiked Gatorades and stuff and people would ask to take like a swig of it. And I'd be like, no, that's mine. That's mine. And half the time I wouldn't even tell them it was spiked or whatever. But I mean, just being possessive of it, you know, even like my $30 box of Franzia, which is equivalent to like 34 glasses of wine. So it's cheaper than heck. And I would still like be like hiding that like there was no tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't know. It was like weird thinking back on it. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
I mean,
He
isn't drinking though now.
Did you like, ever, when you were going to the doctor, having a pacemaker, having multiple heart surgeries and all that, did you ever notice, or did he ever mention any like physical issues that were going on because of drinking, or did he ever mention anything about drinking on your pacemaker and all that?
No, I mean, I was always allowed to do just about everything. Um, this is where another one of those moments I'm really grateful for my parents. They never treated me differently. You want to go play soccer? Awesome. You want to go do this? Awesome. I never had doctors who were like crazy on the limitations. I mean, you know, they would say, don't go crazy on the alcohol, but like nobody was like, you can't drink or you can't do this. I naturally, never smoked or anything. Like that logically made sense to me because of my heart, but nothing like I never had any doctors who were ever concerned. Have always been pretty fit my whole life. So my actual heart muscle has always been healthy, which is actually the one of the biggest concerns for me is because when somebody has a pacemaker for so long, your heart can actually become really lazy. So even now I'm more concerned about always making sure that the muscle is healthy, and my muscle's always been tested as being like healthy.
Yeah. Okay. Then have you noticed, some of like the before and after pictures? You got that, sober glow up and all that, even though like you weren't drinking like crazy, but like you can still notice a difference after like 109 days or whatever it says. And so you started to notice those changes too, looking in the mirror and everything.
Yeah. I mean, I was just on the phone with somebody earlier today, and she was asking me about these products that I now share. And she was saying, she's like, I feel like I'm a little bit on your journey. And I was like, oh, like, tell me more. And she goes, well, my husband and I decided to do dry January. And I was like, that's fantastic. And she goes, and now it's almost March and we still don't want to drink. And I was like, that's incredible. And she was saying, she goes, I just feel like I sleep better. Like she's like, it's only been 60 days, but she's like, I can physically feel different. And I was like, yeah, it's bananas because you don't realize it at the time. Like, I remember when I was early in on wine sales and I would do a tasting and there would be women who were like, oh, I can't drink anymore. Like a glass of wine just messes up my sleep. And I'd be like, you just don't want to buy from me. They weren't lying. Like it turns
The
out.
real thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a real thing. And then like I look back and the amount of times I really struggled sleeping, having a glass of wine, having 2 glasses of wine, going out and having drinks with friends, it like messes even just with your sleep. So then by default, the whole next day, even if you don't have like a hangover, I didn't feel rested, but like I don't know, I feel like a brand new person. And it's on so many levels, but like 1,000% giving up alcohol, huge factor.
Yeah. How did it, besides like sleep and a lot of the physical improvements, how did it, did you notice like your personality and like start to learn more things about yourself just being fully sober, and like your relationships get better? I know you didn't like, weren't self-destructive or hurting like your marriage and all that stuff directly, but like, did you notice just other things get easier, like be more productive, all those kind of things?
Yeah, so I actually have said many times that 2025 was probably the hardest year that I've had in a long time, but also the most rewarding. I have I don't know if you have this or other people who will end up listening to this, but like I have a very clear vision in my mind of a future version of myself. And this image that I have of her, she for sure didn't drink. And I didn't know that. And I just remember thinking like whenever I look at this future version of myself, she looks so happy. She looks so at ease. She's fit. She's like present. And when I look at myself now, I feel like I'm so much closer to this vision of who I want to be. And it's like the best way that I can describe it. Like I can see this like 2-3 years out from now, I'll be older, but I can see myself being so much more confident in my own skin, comfortable in my own thoughts. I love going to bed and not analyzing everything that I did that day. Like I don't sit there and be like, oh, should I have not said that? Should I have said that? Like I know exactly what I said.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I
Very
don't think
aware
about
of
that
everything.
stuff. Um, I think for my husband at first, he was like, are you going to be okay if I still drink? And I was like, I don't care. I was like, this isn't about you or me trying to change you or anyone else. Like, this is just about me. I had a couple friends who, when we went out, they were like, is it still mocktail season? And I was like, sure is. I was like, but you can drink. And they're like, are you sure? And I'm like, totally. Like, this has never been for me to be like, I need to preach on you that you have to do what I'm doing. But the people who, it was very clear to me, the people who were conscious of what I was doing and wanted to be respectful of it. Because they're like, are you okay if I drink? And I'm like, yes. Like, that's your body. That your placemat. But the fact that they asked was really nice.
Yeah, that is cool that they actually care about you and your recovery, you know, in a sense. But it's like a lot of us, when we're in recovery, a lot of us do care. Like we can't be around alcohol, we can't be around people drinking, and they're all very think we're sensitive to it. But you know, it's like a lot of times that's how I think now. It's like I can be around, I can go into bars, you know, often. I don't do it often, but I mean, I don't mind if people are drinking, they're drinking because I have the choice to pick up a bottle or not, you know. So,
Yeah.
it's
I
up to
mean, I
us.
definitely went hard on mocktail season
Yeah,
because I still wanted something that made me feel like I was part of the social
yeah,
situation.
yeah.
But now I'm like, I'll just have a water. It's fine. Like I don't actually need to spend $16 on
A mocktail. Yeah,
ginger ale with purple syrup. I don't know, whatever
exactly.
is in there.
I know.
I mean, I still love a pretty mocktail, but like I felt like I needed it more at the beginning to feel like I fit in socially.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I get that. I thought about drinking like, you know, NA beverages and stuff like that when I was gonna get sober, but I was just kind of like, I don't know why, but I feel like those are just gonna remind me of real drinks and somehow lead me to drinking in some way. I don't know, or lead me craving the real thing, especially if you're paying for it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just I was like, I'll just stick to my little soda waters here. So I drink this
Well,
bubbly stuff all the time. Someday, you know, I hope they sponsor me or something. But
I mean, you
um
gotta start tagging them and everything.
exactly. But yeah, I just drink those all the time, and it's like, okay, I don't need a NA beverage. I know a lot of people that drink the NA Bud Lights and all that stuff, and I'm just like, it tastes like the actual beer. I'm just like, if you're gonna quit something, just quit it altogether, you know. So
I've never been a beer person, so I didn't try any of those. What has been cool about this experience though is my husband has actually now gone sober. He
awesome. I
is
was gonna
1
ask
month.
about that.
Yes, he was officially 1 month a few days ago, and, it was actually over the weekend,
Congrats to
and
him. That's really cool.
thank you, and, like, that was kinda cool, like, he was like, "Okay, I'll do dry January with you," and then he had a work thing, and it didn't happen, and then he felt like crap, and he was like, "Maybe I need to just do this," and he was like, "I'm gonna need your support," and I was like, "I'm here for it." So, we've been, like, getting rid of more alcohol, again, that we've had in the house and whatnot, but I think that was pretty cool, like,
Yeah,
'cause I never pressured him at
yeah,
any point, you know, I
yeah,
marriage is about supporting each other and where we are in different phases, and, you know,
yeah,
I want what my parents had this
yeah.
time since I didn't have it last since I'm on my second husband, um, but I want it to last forever, and so I think that was pretty cool.
Well, I bet he notices a lot of those changes in you physically. And maybe even if you don't notice all the changes, he probably notices a lot of changes in you and your personality and just like, oh, she's happier. She's sleeping well. She's doing this, you know, maybe I should consider that. I mean, so like when I got sober, my mother got sober around the same time and she started to just like enjoy life more. And she's almost 2 years sober now.
Amazing.
I actually ended up relapsing. So I have a little less sober time than her now, but like 17 months coming up tomorrow. So
Congrats.
thank you. And but then recently I interviewed a guy on my show who wrote this book called The Hard Truth, which is all these like crazy serious physiological and psychological facts about alcohol. And I gave it to my stepdad, my mom's significant other, and he's been a pretty big drinker his entire life, but just never really like had a huge issue with it. But he read that book just out of nowhere. I just kind of handed it to him, not out of like pettiness or anything. I was just like, check this out, this is good. And next thing you know, he's sober for like 60 days, and I'm just like, what the heck, this is cool. You know, it's like,
Amazing.
and I don't feel like, you know, I take the credit for it, but I just think, you know, a lot of people, that sober curious side is in them. It's just all about pulling the trigger, you know. So yeah.
And I do think, and I don't know, you can tell me if you agree or disagree. I do think the next generation is for sure drinking less.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, like, I look at my so I have a 15-year-old and a 5-year-old. my 15-year-old is like, whatever. She's like, okay, like, cool, you're having one. Like, it did not in any way spark her to want to steal my wine. She was like, whatever. So I think that they look at us drinking the way we looked at our parents smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, I think so. They just
Because
see
I
all
never
the
wanted to smoke, and my father was a smoker, and he actually quit for my daughter.
wow,
Yeah. She
that's really
was
cool.
3 years old. She's 15 now, and he quit for her.
That's so cool.
And so
Whatever it takes.
I just think though that like her generation looks at my generation and is like,
Yeah, like why drink? I
why
hear,
would you do that?
and people are so outspoken about it now, and just like about being sober. And I'm sure people in that generation now are just kind of like, what am I really missing out on here? So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, she saw me like be done with my friends.
yeah, yep,
I would also be like, nah, I'm good.
exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's kind of
Cool.
interesting. I'm proud of her.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's awesome, and congrats to your husband as well for
Thank you.
taking those steps too. Because it takes a lot. But it just shows that he was probably sober curious for quite a while, watching you and your progress and watching how you've done. And now, now you don't have to like tell him not to touch that bottle of wine anymore. So
I know. Now I'm like, where can we send it? Like,
yeah,
where are we sending this bottle of wine? Because there is a lot of wine still here.
yeah. Well, a lot of gifts, a lot of gifts.
A lot of gifts. A lot of, oh, you're inviting us to dinner? Here you go.
So, can you lead me into a little bit about what Rise is all about, and tell me about how you got into that and what that
Yeah,
is?
totally. So it's called Frequence, is the company. And I
Saw the ad as like something freak of nature, or what was the slogan? I was laughing at it.
feel
So
good now.
okay, feel good now.
Feel good now.
Get your freak on. That's what I saw.
Yes, get your free. Yes. So I actually named my team WTF, or what the frequency, because I was like, I don't get it. So essentially, what we do is we put frequency on nutrition, which nobody has ever done before. And these little metal discs hold harmonic frequencies that align with your major organs of your body. So when you take your supplements, it actually works and your body can absorb them, which is like, I know woo woo, but I'm like, I can't see Wi-Fi and I can't see gravity. And it's the only thing that made me feel good in 2 years. So give me all the frequency, like just do whatever it takes to make me feel good. So it's actually what I'm drinking right now. You can kind of see it just looks like a tea. So it's mushrooms, it's methylated B vitamins, and it's nootropics. It's all the good things. And the first time I drank it was the first time that I felt calmness come over my body in 2 years. And that was when I said to my husband, I was like, I think I need to leave the wine industry and I got to go share this with the world, because I haven't felt this good in so long. And so that's what I did.
Who introduced you to it?
My friend Sarah, who I just knew from 13 years ago. And what's really weird is I do believe the universe will have your back if you just look for the signs, because I hadn't seen her post anything on social media in years. And then I saw that post. And that will be March 6th. So like a week from now, a year ago.
Life-changing post. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then I ended up having a conversation with the CEO like 3 days later, because I was like, I'm not actually looking for another company thank you. But she's like, no, just like, come talk. Like, it's not going to hurt anything. And I just remember talking to them and being like, I think I need to just be part of this. Like, I told them, I was like, I feel like I'm cheating on like my wine business, but like, I need something. I need a life change. And I started using the products for a month, kind of behind the scenes, just to see how I would feel. So all of March last year, basically, I was drinking the products, using the products. That day one picture on my social media is actually from March of last year. And then like 3 weeks in, I was like, I'm going to go do this. And so then I ended up resigning in April.
Wow. It's crazy. So you
Yeah.
just went all in on it, and you've been drinking it ever since, and you've been spreading the word. And have you put it on to other people who are also noticing the improvements?
Oh my gosh. So as I told you, I was the number one income earner at my previous company. So at the height, I've had 8,500 people enroll into my team in the network marketing space. I walked away from all of it. Cold turkey. Just, I'm here today and I was gone tomorrow.
Wow.
And then 2 days later, I announced my partnership with Frequence. And it was probably one of the scariest things I've done, because there were several years where I was actually the breadwinner with what I had built. And so I walked away and I just like trusted the universe, and we've helped hundreds of people now feel good.
It's amazing.
I ended up being, I had no idea. We just went to our conference last week, 2 weeks ago. Time is blending in. And I ended up being the number 2 in the company.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
it's a global company. We're in a bunch of different countries, from Mexico to Australia. And I cry. Like, you can actually, there's a whole reel about it. I cry because I couldn't believe it. But I was number 2 globally in recruiting for the company.
It's
That's how
amazing.
much I love this freaking product. And then it made me like go, I don't know if I was allowed to say freaking. And then I just said it again. Sorry, you're recording.
No, it's okay. Do you notice like your passion for pushing this product as opposed to back in the day pushing wine? Do you notice similarities and differences as to how you feel about it, how you go about, getting it onto other people?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the type of person, if I believe in something, that's it. Like, if you're my friend and I believe in you, that's it. There's no negotiating on it. You wanna start an online business, you wanna go into hotel management, I don't know, whatever it is, done. Like, whatever we need to do, like, I am your person. So if I believe in something, what I'd like to say about me is that, like, I'm not wishy-washy. So if I believe in it, that's it. Like, there's no, like, yes, this is a yes. I don't think I would have given up alcohol if I hadn't found this company and these products, because I didn't know how to support my body yet. I was just numbing and numbing and numbing, and then like hoping something would fix it. And then I started feeling good, and I was like, there's another option. You can actually just like support your body and succeed.
And feel good at the same time. So,
Yeah.
okay. And it says like on your page, like nervous system support for real life. Is that referring to Rise?
Yep. And with like
Okay.
the anxiety and everything.
Yeah. 'Cause
I
I
think I
suffered
was
from horrible crippling anxiety for a long time. And I think that's why I drank. So that was what I was worried about in recovery, was being able to deal with anxiety. And I don't have it anywhere near as bad as I did before, but something like this obviously would help anybody with like anxiety, social anxiety, stuff like that.
1,000%. I mean, it does so many things. So, like, my 15-year-old asks for it, and it's because she wants to feel focused at school. They call it locked in at this age. She's like, I'm locked in.
Wow.
It means focus.
How many different options are there? Is there different vast arrays of different kind of drinks, or is it like one specific drink like the one you have right now?
So this is the Rise. This is the mushroom drink, but then there's other products. There's like a detox. There is something called Reverse, which is healing at the cellular level. There's something that helps with sleep. Like, there's a whole collection, and we put frequency on every single thing, which
Okay.
makes them work even better. But this is the drink that, like,
Yeah. You drink it every day?
every day.
Every day. How many per day are you supposed to have to make
Most
it
people do like
effective?
1. I tend to do 2 because
Okay.
I was also a big coffee drinker, which I don't think coffee was helping with my anxiety either. And I was a morning and afternoon coffee drinker. So now I just drink my Rise. I know it's like I'm not putting a bunch of junk in my body. My husband used to joke. He was like, "You don't really like coffee." He was like, "You like half and half with like a little bit of coffee."
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like nothing. And I'd be like putting the pumps of syrup in it. And he was like, "That's not actually coffee. That's just junk going in your body." So
So
it
Rise
feels
actually
good.
gives you that perk and that pep in your step. It doesn't make you sluggish at all.
No,
Okay.
no, it's
Awesome.
amazing.
I'm gonna have to order some for sure, just to give it a try because I find it really intriguing. So awesome. So yeah, so like you've been doing that now for about a year. It sounds like is when you sent that message in about a few days, basically, and you're enjoying it. Already number 2 in the company and all that. So really enjoying it. How does one go about ordering Rise and all that, and how can people reach you?
Yeah. So right on my social media at Jes Landau. And then my website is just frequence.com/Jess with the 1 S, which
Okay,
I know everyone thinks is weird, but double S in cursive is lame. So I just got rid of one of them.
nice.
But I'm happy to support in any way. So if you have questions like, can it also help with this? Can it help with that? Send me a DM. Like, I'm open to support anybody.
Awesome. And it's JesLandau for everybody out there listening. So awesome. So you love doing it. Looking back at your days doing wine, do you feel like that gave you a lot of at least the confidence and sales skills and like energy to be able to do what you're doing now? Do you feel like you kind of look back and still see some positives in that?
I mean, 1,000%. I'm grateful. Like, I don't think it's worth not being grateful for every stage. I wouldn't be here if I hadn't gone through all the things. It's kind of like going through my divorce. If I didn't go through my divorce, I wouldn't have found my husband now, right? Like everything can have a silver lining. And yeah, I mean, I did love what I did. It's just no longer was in alignment with like the lifestyle I wanted anymore.
Yeah. So that makes sense. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So what advice would you give to people out there that, are struggling, maybe not even like struggling, kind of like in a position you were in where it's just like you just are curious about what it's like to be completely sober, even if you're not drinking too much or drinking too much? What kind of advice would you give based on your experience?
I think your circle matters. I think your circle really matters. As I said, one of the hardest, most rewarding years of my life, I have found who are really my friends and who really wants to see you win when it comes to something like this. It's very easy. Change is not easy for yourself or for the people who are watching you change. Keep the people close who will celebrate you through the change.
I like that.
Yeah.
Very well said. Well, awesome. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. You got places to go and all that. So I got to get to my AA meeting and all that. So I don't know if did you ever go to any AA meetings while you were just for the heck of it?
No, I haven't. I mean, I have friends who have, but I don't know. So far I'm good. So I'm rolling with what is working and not really touching that.
Oh, okay. Then one more question I forgot to ask, but like, do you catch yourself? Did you catch your friend groups change throughout this transitional period? Like, are you spending more time with people that are sober and like, kind of on the rise system as opposed to the wine drinking and all that? Did that kind of change over time?
1,000%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Some of my closest friends have actually chosen to go sober alongside me out of support. Some of the people that I thought would celebrate me haven't, which also expected. And then some of the people that were the least expected to celebrate me have celebrated me the hardest.
Wow. That's incredible. It's a good feeling. Good. Well,
Yeah.
I'm really happy for you and really happy for your family and your daughters that they get to, see their mom thrive like this and everything, and your husband getting sober too. If he ever feels like months down the road wants to share his story on the show, I'd be happy to have him on. So,
Thank you. I will definitely tell him. He might be down for it. He was actually a public speaker for many years. So
awesome. So
the man loves to talk.
All right. Perfect. I love the less I talk, the better,
Perfect.
No, that's great. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It was fun talking to you. And it's really cool hearing just like how you used to be so passionate about, selling wine to selling something so much healthier and better for society, so it's really cool. So,
thank you. Can I take a picture and share this on my social so everybody knows?
By all means, let's do it.
Okay. All right, cool.
Rock Bottom with Ryan. No bullshit, just recovery.